This is not the greatest subclass in the world. This is just a tribute.
Bards believe the cosmos is a work of art, the creation of the first dragons and gods. That creative work includes harmonies that continue to resound through existence today, a power known as the Song of Creation. The bards of the College of Creation draw on that primeval song and dance, music, poetry. Their teachers share this lesson. Before the sun and the moon, there was the song, and its music awoke the forest dawn. Its melodies so delighted the stones and trees that some of them granted a voice of their own. And now they sing too. Learn the song, students, and you too can teach the mountains to sing and dance. Gnomes and dwarves often encourage their bards to become students of the song of creation. And among Dragonborn, the song of creation is revered, for legends portray Bahamut and Tiamat, the greatest of dragons, as the two of the song's first singers.
All right, so when you take this subclass at level 3, the College of Creation Bard gets Mote of Potential. Whenever you give a creature a bardic inspiration, you utter a note from a Song of Creation to create a tiny mote of potential, which orbits within 5 feet of that creature. The mote is intangible and invulnerable, and it lasts until the bardic inspiration die is lost. The mote looks like a musical note, a star, a flower, or another symbol of art or life that you choose. When the creature uses the bardic inspiration die, that mote provides an additional effect based on whether the die benefits an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, as detailed below. Ability check. When the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die to add it to an ability check, the creator can roll the bardic inspiration die again and choose which roll to use. The mote pops and emits colorful, harmless sparks for a moment. So you get to roll it again and take the best. So it's advantage on ability check, which is kind of cool. Attack roll. Immediately after the creature rolls the bardic inspiration to add it to attack roll, the mote thunderously shatters. The target and each creature of your choice within 5 feet of it must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or die. No, wait, hang on, that doesn't say that. Saving throw gets you a spell save D3 or take thunder damage equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die. Very cool. And the saving throw version is immediately after the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die, and adds it to its saving throw. The mote vanishes with the sound of soft music, causing the creature to gain temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die, plus your charisma modifier.
Hmm.
Which one of those is the best?
I think it's attack roll for me. It's a simple mechanic, and hopefully people remember that they've got a bardic inspiration point to use.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And I love the concept. It's every creature within that thing. So it's just like a thunderous, it's basically like casting shatter on them. It's pretty cool.
Mm. Oof, okay, these things are long, so let me warm up my larynx to read to you Performance of Creation. Also at third level, as an action, you can channel the magic of Song of Creation to create one non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on a surface or in a liquid that can support it, so you can't make a safe that's going to crush someone. The GP value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level, which opens it up. And the item must be medium or smaller. The item glimmers softly, and the creature can hear a faint music when touching it. The created item disappears after a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus. For example, for example of items you can create, you can see the player's handbook. It's got a big list of items and their values there. I would also suggest you look at other tables because there could be more things. Once you create an item for this feature, you can't do so until a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of level 2 or higher to use this feature again. You can have only one item created by this feature at a time. If you use this action and already have an item currently from this feature, the first one immediately vanishes, and the size of this item that you create increases one size category when you hit 6th level to large and 14th level to huge. So there's a couple of things that immediately come to mind. Some things that are going to be just handy because you didn't remember to write them down on your character sheet. You didn't realize you would need it. Things like rope, lockpicks, crowbar, manacles, shackles, a key, tools that you'd never had. And then as you get larger and larger, there could be anything from a boat, a wagon, a shed, a sail, a rug to cover a hole, or anything. Creativity is key here. What do you reckon, Mitch?
Um, I think the fact that you don't have to know of the magical item before you create it, very abusable fact. So you start looking at the equipment list and see things like guns. At level 8, you
Didn't
could
know
create
this
a
existed.
bomb. But like you could create a bomb, you can make a gunpowder keg a few levels later. I'm just going through a couple things here. We've got poisons. Poisons are very helpful. All sorts of, if you're a chef, you could get all sorts of meats and things to use. Uh, Pistols, carriages, magnifying adventuring gear, all very cool. But I'm going to save my DM tip for the other part of this, and I just want to say that
Mm.
it's very interesting the way they've done this. That you just sing it, and in an action, it's there.
Yeah.
I really like that. Uh, I want to see a creative player against me, and when I say against, I mean see how their brain works when I'm a DM,
Mm.
because I want to see how I handle this. Because this just sounds like you could never predict what's going to come out of someone with a reasonable
Mm.
taste for adventure. Don't ever let an engineer do this or a chemist.
I would like some sulfur. Is that all? Yes, that is all.
Yes, yes. I'd like some flour. I'd like a. Oh god. Uh, so yeah, that's a lot of fun. Then moving on to 6th level, you have animating performance, which is
Yes.
obviously a 6th level creation feature. But as an action, you can animate one large or smaller non-magical item within 30 feet of you that isn't being worn or carried. The animate item uses the dancing item stat block, which uses your proficiency bonus. The item is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your command. It lives for an hour until it reduces its hit points by 0 or until it dies. In combat, the item shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. The action can be one in its stat block or some other action. If you're incapacitated, the item can take any action of its choice, not just dodge. When you use your Bardic Inspiration feature, you can command the item as part of the same bonus action for your use of the Bardic Inspiration. Wow, that's actually crazy good. Once you animate an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expel a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to use this feature again. You can only have one item animated by this feature at a time if you use an action and already have a dancing item from this feature. The first one immediately becomes inanimate.
Good, good. All right. Well, I'll probably throw the stat block up there for the animated items, so we can talk about that as we go on. What do you think of this strengths and weaknesses here?
I think I want to do this now just because that last couple lines there. If you already have one item animated by this feature at a time and you use this action and already have a dancing item from this feature, the first one becomes inanimate. So it's got flying. You can make it fly up 60 feet above people and then summon another one, which makes the first one drop down. And then that one gets its attack as well. So in one action, you've done a lot of damage. So I love that. There's so many interesting interactions you can do. Like, for instance, let's take Baldur's Gate 3, for example. On the ship, if you made the little devil guy drop his sword, or someone did, and then you cast this on it, you could make your sword into a dancing sword that attacks him,
And it's,
which is very, very cool.
as long as it's not magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good. You get some good stats. They're reasonable, and they're going to get more powerful as you become more powerful. The armor class doesn't change, so that for me is a bit of a. I need a bit more of a tie to some things for everything to go up as well. But love it. I also like the irrepressible dance, and I'm going to talk about one later with my character concept. But having a look there, that any creature that starts it, so any, so it doesn't matter how many, starts its turn within 10 feet, you can increase or decrease their speed by 10 feet for that round. So I got a plan for that.
That's epic. That's really good.
It does make me feel like tables. I've had play a tame an animated table, and the character riding an animated table into battle was fantastic. By the end of that game, everyone had their own interesting mount of some sort: giant lizard, a table, and all sorts of things. Like, it was
Yeah.
great. I also see the bed from Bed Knobs and Broomsticks flying through the air, crashing around, traveling through the streets of England, and things like that. Everyone rides the bed, a large object sort of thing. A rug now can fly at 30 feet. Or my big one I was thinking, I said to you earlier, would be if you could animate a cage or a jail and it could follow you along, it would open up and you could throw people in there and it would slam shut sort of thing and then follow
That's really
around.
good. Yeah.
It's creative players who will really win in this, and we'll come back to player and DM tips on that one. Creative crescendo. Boom. At 14th level, when you use your performance of creation feature, you can create more than one item at once. The number of items equals to your charisma modifier, minimum of 2, and if you create an item that would exceed the number, you choose which of the previous created items disappears. Only one of these items can be that maximum sized. The rest are still small or tiny. So big one with a little swarm of little ones running around. You no longer have a GP value limit for creating your items with the performance of creation. So it's you create anything now. This is where I think people start thinking money. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that, and I think games shouldn't always be about money. And if things disappear after a while and whatever, eventually, like, towns only have so much money, and so many people are only willing to buy so many things. And you can't just go in with a Mona Lisa and expect everyone to buy a Mona Lisa today. Like people just don't have that on them. That will be the limiting factor, DMs there. So this is a pretty cool ability. It builds upon what was already been set up and just gives you more of them running around. So cool. What do you reckon?
Um, it is what it is. Like, as I said before, GP is just a number. Like, so you get to do it twice. Great. There's no limit on gold, and it's got your size. So it is what it is. Get creative. I'd love to see someone write in the comments what they've come up with, because there's so many things you can do. Obviously, being engineers, we'll go straight to bombs and structures and stuff. But
You're up to huge at level 14, so yeah.
yeah, I know there's people out there that have amazing thoughts. I'd
Mm.
love to see them. But no, it's right up there. Like, for bard subclasses, you've got the power of creation. You got the
Mm.
oh, nice. If you know what I mean, like the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm. So what do you like and dislike about this whole class, Mitch? What rings true for you?
So love everything about this. Like the way it's done, creation. There's so much room for people with degrees to really ruin your game as a DM. But the thing I'm going to note out is uh, the animating performance. When you use your bardic inspiration feature, you can command the item as part of the same bonus action for your bardic inspiration. So right there, you're using a bonus action to do bardic inspiration to give someone a bonus, advantage on ability check, extra damage on their attack roll, like a explosion, or saving throw with temporary hit points. And then also you can command your dancing item to do something cool, which could just be move forward and attack and reduce their movement speed, which could save him more damage. So The action economy for this is amazing. It's much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, it takes 10 hours to create something, but no, it's an action. So I love the way they've done the action economy in this. It does seem like something that's very abusable. And I think we're all well aware of how bad some of this stuff could go with, when you make another dancing item, the other one falls from 180 feet onto the BBEG and crushes them. But there's a lot of tools here to play with, and I'm very, very thankful that they made this.
It does say it by size, not by weight. Some things I like and then don't like about this is a class really built for someone who's all right. Open up, let's get those creative juices going, and it is there. If you're not that sort of person, you're gonna do a lot of research on. Maybe don't pick this subclass because as much as you love it, it may not necessarily be for you. Some things I dislike about it during the performance of creation. You only get to make one mundane thing per long rest. One. I got to make one crowbar to get us into this thing, and then that was it. I really feel that we could have gone a little bit, let it done a few more times. Like we've talked previously, I don't like it when they give you a class feature that you barely get to use. You use it once, and then for the rest, that was it. You're no difference from a standard bard without a subclass. So I do feel that you could have got a bit more out of that. And I always feel the exact same with the animating performance, where you've got to use a bonus action. And I get it, the game's all about economy, but I mean, you tell a dog to sick it. You've actually got to now tell the dog to stop because the dog will just keep doing it over and over and over again. I understand this isn't an animal. This is something you've kind of controlling a bit more. But whenever you get that bonus item and you've got to use your bonus action, like attack it, and then you hit it, and then you attack it again, and you hit it. You keep attacking the damn thing until I say so. Like the guy should die, and the thing will still be attacking it until you told it stop doing that. So. But I mean, that's a action-based economy things. I do understand. I think it's a bit silly. Character concepts, Mitch. How are you going to play this? What are you going to breathe into life, and how are you going to make this a thing?
I can sometimes I get hooked on a little scene in my head when I'm thinking of a character. I'm trying to think of like what makes this character believable, lovable. And I try and think of moments that could potentially come up, but I try not to force them.
Mm-hmm.
And one key moment I'm sort of thinking of is like the jail cell scene. So the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
every time this bard used to create an item every day as part of his ritual, and he could create he'd get out his guitar and he'd play a song and this item would just appear. And everyone's like, that's actually really amazing. Like he makes this breakfast, he makes this. He does this thing every long rest. He can do this thing. They get locked up in a jail cell, and everyone's looking down, and they said, "Listen, if only they didn't take your guitar off you, we could have had like an escape. You could have made a key." And he goes, "Oh, you thought? Oh, yeah, no problem. Here we go." And he sings, but he makes the guitar, not the key.
And
everyone's just like,
I've got a guitar.
So I'm thinking low intelligence bard. So kind of like my concept of this is playing in a group, possibly with an Oath of Glory paladin. I kind of like the idea of like a bard that can do almost anything but has low intelligence and a very passionate, wants to be the best. And his like artificer type person keeps making him the wrong items, almost like a monkey paw sort of situation. Like, I want this, and he goes, I can make that for you. And they're like, all right, we'll try again tomorrow. I feel like a bit could happen there, a little bit of bouncing. So my character concept is kind of like a what is it called? Like not a butler, but like for a knight.
Squire.
Yeah, kind of like the Witcher, like a squire or someone, a bard squire sort of thing, following him along and getting everything wrong and being a bit of a screw up. Yep. How about yourself? Where are you at?
That's cool. For me, I see a toy maker or puppet master, someone who makes all these little devices and toys, and they go off and they go cause, or they come to life. They create it out of nothing, and almost artificery sort of thing. But he does it through the music of creation on his note, and then brings life to these things. I could see a bard being a bit of a toy maker, a puppeteer, and then all of a sudden these things come to life, like Pinocchio. There are no strings on me. type situation. But that's for me, and you bring to life in this, and that's what I was thinking with some of these abilities, such as the dancing items ability for the irrepressible dance, and it
Yeah.
speeds up people and slows people down. I think it's got to be like a skate. And if your party step on it, speeds them up as they through speed up, and it slows down the enemies. They come running through and they slip out and slows them down. And marbles, all that sort of just I use toys to attack with. So I think that for me is a very creative way of doing things, and we'd have seen things like that from the Robin Williams movies Toys, where the exact same sort of thing happens. They build weapons out of toys.
It's very good. It's very good. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Going down to players,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think that this is the subclass where I actually would just say, if you're planning on just playing a subclass where there's, you just want to roll dice and have fun, just rock up on the day and play, I would actually say this subclass might not be for you. This is for my overthinkers, the people that in between games re-listen to their session that they recorded secretly and take notes and then write down little jokes that they thought of and things. And this is the sort of thing I like to do, where you actually go, okay, what could have worked? Oh, that worked well, but what if we did this? And you start looking at the what if we did this to make us travel faster? What's coming up? For those massive overthinkers, this is a good subclass. So my player tip is, if you want to have a relaxing time where you're pretty much not doing anything, this will be a stressful subclass. So maybe either do a lot of reading and rethink it. I'm not going to tell you not to, but you won't without putting the effort in. You're not going to get the full effect from this subclass because you can't just rely on your DM. That's unfair.
Yeah, the player's got to do a lot of the work here to really make this one shine at its full potential. The other one I see is
Ooh.
that eventually you will come up with that great combo, and you will use it and 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 use it, and you will end up bugging the DM because you found some way to break his campaign a certain way, either through selling things or making a certain whatever it is. You've got a great potential because you're unlimited ability for creativity. So I would challenge you to not keep spamming the same thing you've come up with. Coming up with something is fantastic. Overusing it becomes a drain. And whenever you watch a TV show or movie, they don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. They come up with new ways. If you ever watched a show and you think, hey, 5 episodes ago you did this thing, this could have got you out of that trouble. Because
Mm.
the writers want to be creative and come up with new ways every time and not just keep spamming the exact same thing. So I'd challenge players to be the exact same. Don't just spam the same great combo. Like, use it once or twice and be like, okay, that was cool. I'm going to come up with something cool now.
And obviously, we're not talking to those of you who play Warlock. Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast.
What are you going to do this round? Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, I've already pre-rolled it and sent you the message.
What about for
Uh,
DMs then, Mitch? How does a DM give this character the ability to shine, but not go off the rails?
I think that the DM are a foil for this, like a opposing bard of creation.
Mm.
Not only would make an amazing BBG, but you could have a really cool way of introducing it to the players. I'm going to put this down as one of the best ways you could ever introduce a character to the party. And that's when they either purchase an item for a lot of gold
Mm.
or like a magic item and and they don't know what's happening. And as soon as the bard touches it, he starts hearing music in his head and he doesn't know what it is. Like he's like, it's, and get him to roll like insight, arcana, that sort of thing with a decently high DC and have it happen to him a few times and the items disappear. Because as you can see in performance of creation, the item glimmers softly and the creature can faintly hear music when touching it.
Mm.
So if another bard, you buy an item and then all of a sudden the bard like, oh, this is really cool. Can I see it? And they pick it up and it's humming and they're like, what is this? I don't know what this is. And then like roll arcana. This was created with the song of creation. And they turn back and the guy's gone. And they're like, son of a bitch. So it could be a foil, it could be someone that comes up, but I love the concept of bards trying to outbard each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this could even be someone he sold it to getting back at him.
Yeah.
This could turn into a love story. Two very alike people that test each other until that moment comes. But as a DM, I'm just going to say that little bit of the items singing the song of creation.
Yep.
Beautiful.
The F
How about
note.
yourself, Luigi?
The F note. I think as a DM, you need to read and understand the subclass and what it's about. It is about encouraging people to be creative. And someone's coming to you to play this to be, or to attempt to be creative. So don't piss on their dreams.
Good distinction.
You may need a larger price list of items so that you can make best guess assumptions for when they're talking about it, because it's the limit for a reasonable time. And a player who's got this could be a full blessing, but they could also be someone that you've got to be careful with, because you don't know what they're going to bust out all of a sudden. So try not to shoot down their ideas. Encourage them to be creative, sort of thing, and work with them when they're trying to come up with an item to be the solution to the problem. And once again, if a player does come up with that unbreakable item and combo that just destroys your game, you might very well have to turn to them and say, congratulations, you've done something that has opened up
You've
my...
won D&D.
You won D&D. I can't deal with this. I'm going to have to retcon this because it has got... I'm going to give you inspiration and something to congratulate, spell something back. Congratulations.
Oh my God.
But
I can't believe you go that far.
I can't... well done. Like, creativity, you've just done it. But I can't have that go for it. So be open and honest. Like, this ruins the whole... We just wiped out 7 to 8 sessions. Like, doing this. So well done. But I kind of need it to happen. I'm stuck, and we're just gonna have to stop playing this week if I can't come up with anything more. Look for amazing ideas. Try to have them not be too unbalanced, and realize that this is what someone's going with. This is your challenge as the DM, and when it does get too far, admit it. Say hey, I can't. You just won D&D. I need to go back a step, and you get a reward, but I can't have this happen.
100%. And I'm just going to quickly say, I did just screw up my camera a bit trying to show you something. But at that point, you can put this over it and just cover my camera for a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say, so one thing I wanted to say was, if you are in session with very little time and you're trying to work out equipment prices and you're trying to rush through it, you can go to D&D Beyond, go to the equipment tab and sort by gold price. And that might at least, I'm looking at it now, it's got items, it's got spell books, it's got entertainers packs. Like, a good idea would be entertainers packs and stuff, because they have, the packs have lots of items in there, like rope and that. So some of them is one item, and they will have the crowbar, the something else, and technically it's one item. So you would be able to get all the stuff you need to escape from a prison from a pack.
I think you just get
yeah. But I'm just saying it is there if you're hard up. There's other ones on the internet, but D&D Beyond does have a pretty decent one with basic items.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think we've covered off the class. It is a great one for anyone who wants to be overly creative. And this also brings us to the end of our Tasha's subclass. That is Tasha's done now. So I do have someone who has put in comments previously, and then we're going to look at those ones. So by all means, if there's subclasses that haven't been looked at, let us know. Adventure reviews that you'd rather do, anything, direct us in the right direction, and we'll work towards the goals of this channel. Thank you.
The next video we're doing is the rating of the Tasha subclasses, top to bottom, which is the best one by our personal standards. And we'll compare and put our list up against each other and see how close we are. Because I think we're going to be spot on.
Non-bias is what I'm saying.
Rune Knight at the bottom. Fuck Rune Knight.
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening and waiting and getting through this with us. Yeah. I appreciate it. And some of our ramblings do go on a bit. But I think there's some great stuff there.
It's because we love it, and you love it too.
I do. All right, thanks very much, and we'll catch you next time.